Good evening and thank you for being with us on Nationwide on the NTA. We're reaching you live from Abuja. I am Ifoma Ochinta. Now, as part of its promise to connect the whole country by rail, the federal government has signed a memorandum of understanding with a Portuguese-based company for the construction of $1.9 billion Kano-Maradi standard gauge railway lines. Signing on behalf of the federal government, Minister of Transportation Chibike Rotimi Amechi says government is committed towards revolutionizing the transportation system in Nigeria. Managing Director of the contracting firm, Antonio Graka, disclosed that the projects, besides developing freights and passengers transports, will be integrated with road transportation, which will make great contribution to the local economy.
We start preparing all the activities we have to do according with our engineering design.
Kano-Maradi Rail project is not a standalone project. It is part of the greater Lagos-Kano-Maradi project, and it is also part of the greater West African community agreements towards expanding trade and transport.
Well, it's a decision, a strategic decision of the Nigerian government, and they choose, we didn't send them, they choose a Portuguese company who's very experienced in Africa and very good at that. They just won another contract in a very close country and another bid in another close country.
The Kano-Maradi Railway will run through 3 states of Kano, Jigawa, Katsina, and Niger Republic as far as Maradi. Besides providing transportation, the project will provide additional socio-economic benefits to both countries. It is expected to be completed in May 2023. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete-Ekwe-Ibas, has inaugurated 4 different accommodation projects to motivate productivity of personnel at the Eastern Naval Command in Calabar. Paul Abel reports that the essence is to boost the morale of officers and men in their fight against maritime insecurity in Nigeria.
Housing, being one of the basic needs of man, is part of the vision of the Chief of Naval Staff to ensure its personnel are given comfortable accommodation across the country while protecting the Nigerian waters against criminals and other external aggression. That vision is now a reality as the Chief of Naval Staff, Ibok Ete-Ibas, represented by the Fleet Commander, Eastern Fleet, inaugurates 6 3-bedroom officers' accommodation and a block of 24 1-bedroom apartments for resident doctors at the Nigerian Navy Reference Hospital, Calabar. Others are 3-bedroom houses, Chief Boatwin's Mate House, and 40 rooms NNS Victory Ratings Arrival Hall, all in Akom Barracks.
The Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete-Ekwe-Ibas, Admiralty Medal, as encapsulated in his strategic directives. So it's like bringing to fruition his vision for infrastructural development for the entire Nigerian Navy personnel.
Accompanied by the acting flag officer commanding Eastern Naval Command, Commander Naval War College Nigeria, and service commanders toured around the various projects. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, addressed candidates of the 80 regular intake of the Nigerian Army at the Falgore Forest, Kano, a former den for criminals. What is the mission of these candidates and the Army Chief's message to the prospective soldiers? Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
6,000 candidates comprising male and female for the 80 regular intake of the Nigerian Army converged at the Falgore Forest, Kano, for the final screening exercise into the Nigerian Army. With a mixture of savanna and Sahel vegetation, the forest, a former hideout for bandits and kidnappers, provides the needed challenge for testing and screening of these prospective soldiers.
We must have the best.
While at the Falgore Forest, that has been dominated and developed to a training ground, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, urged the candidates to be disciplined and be prepared to serve in any war front after successful recruitment and training.
I assure you, all of you will go to Sambisa at the end of your depot training. Is that clear? If you are not ready to move to Sambisa and other parts of the country, you are not ready to be loyal at any point, then it's not late. You can just stand up and go.
The candidates selected from all states of the Federation and the FCT, full of joy and high morale, cheer up each other as they moved to the long-awaited final mandatory physical test, the 30 and 20-kilometer race for male and female. From Falgore Forest in Kano, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
On the way from security to issues of COVID-19. With the spike in cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, authorities are stepping up response to contain the spread of the virus and manage infected patients better. This brings about increase in medical waste from isolation and treatment centers across the country. Onange Fineface now takes a look at the handling of these infectious wastes vis-a-vis guidelines provided to this effect.
Medical wastes are generally handled with more care than regular domestic wastes, most especially those used in treating patients with infectious diseases. COVID-19 ranks high, if not tops, on the list of infectious diseases at the moment. Isolation and treatment centers for COVID-19 are now spread across the country. Increased testing for the virus means more laboratories springing up by the day. All of these result in the use of medical materials and kits exposed to the virus and in need of safe disposal.
In the hospitals, you don't just dump your waste anyhow. You have places where you take your waste to, because they are hazardous waste. It can harm the environment, it can harm human beings. So the best bet is just for the waste to be disposed properly.
National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRA, has provided guidelines for safe handling of infectious wastes generated in health centers.
From the normal general waste generated from the hospital, about 85% of the waste is a normal domestic waste. Only 15% is infectious. But if you look at COVID-19, due to the nature of the disease, almost all the waste that is generated from the isolation centers are considered as infectious.
The guideline has provision for cleaning of beddings, non-consumables used for patients' care, personal protective equipment, and transportation of wastes from hospitals to incineration points.
Incinerators doesn't have to be on site. And incineration is not the only system of treatment of this infectious waste. Mind you, for the fact that they are infectious, it has a time limit for the infection. After some time, it will no longer be infectious. There is also steam sterilization. You put it in steam, or you use autoclave to autoclave before you dispose. When you make it inert, it's no longer infectious. You can now dump it.
There is also provision for sanctions against defaulting health service providers. In Abuja, Onange Fineface, NTA News.
In the meantime, 1,244 new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in Nigeria in the last 24 hours in 17 states and the FCT. In the new figures released by the NCDC, Lagos is still leading with 774 new infections, followed by the FCT with 125, then Plateau State with 102 cases. Others are 47 in Anambra, 46 in Ondo, 27 in Rivers, 18 in Edo, while Kaduna, Ogun, and Gombe states have 16 new cases each. Bauchi and Kano have 11 cases each, Nasarawa 10, Akwa Ibom and Sokoto have 10 each, Borno 5, Ekiti 4, while Zamfara has 2. Nigeria now has 101,331 confirmed cases, out of which 80,491 were treated and discharged, while 1,361 deaths recorded. Now, potential national identity number enrollees in Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital, have decried the challenges of getting their national identification number. Their complaints are due to the number of hours they spend in crowds with other enrollees at NIMSI offices in breach of COVID-19 protocol. Vera Ekereyak has the situation report.
Hundreds of people besieged the office of the National Identity Management Commission in Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital, following the reopening of the office after a few days of a national strike action embarked by officials of the commission to press home their demand of a better welfare package amidst the coronavirus pandemic. Some enrollees who spoke with NTA News expressed satisfaction having been enrolled, while others lament delay in the process.
I think the process is somehow smooth. I've gotten my own.
That was an uproar. The car was mush, so for us to go inside is actually an issue, a problem.
Others, however, alleged sharp practices in the system.
For me, I have to buy the form outside 200 naira, and up till now, when we came up, they drove us out.
Bayelsa State Coordinator, National Identity Management Commission, Bob Manuel Agala, noted that the commission is doing its best to satisfy the enrollees.
I'm here to tell you that NIN registration is free, forms are free, first ID card issuance, the electronic ID card issuance is free. That does not mean that we don't carry out paid services. If you come and tell me that you have lost your NIN, it's a paid service. If you tell me that your NIN is burnt, it's a paid service.
It would be recalled that the federal government has given up to 19th of January for citizens to link their NIN to all SIM cards. In Yenagoa, Vera Ekereyak, NTA News.
Let's now go to Nigeria's commercial city of Lagos, and Dotun is our guide. Hello, Dotun.
After a two-day lull in the ongoing registration for National Identification Number, the exercise has recommenced with centers across Lagos State recording a surge in the number of applicants. Adeni Taiwo reports that the anxious applicants are calling for the establishment of more centers to address gaps in the registration process ahead of the February 9 deadline for phone number NIN synchronization.
This is the Alausa office of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMSI. It is a busy day for officials of the commission, as security agents here and other centers across the state where anxious applicants wait on long queues for their turn in the registration process.
He did my online, so I printed a form out. So they asked me to bring it to Alausa here. I spoke to one of the officials and showed them. One of them told me it does not matter. I have to redo it again.
And you talk to a few people, they're telling you different stories. The organizers of the program are not communicating with anybody.
Apart from having to travel long distances to some of the enrollment centers, some of the applicants also alleged form racketeering by tout who they said were exploiting the situation to make money.
You can imagine the population of Lagos, and you have just this one center for the whole of this area.
Apart from its 50 office centers spread across the state, the Commission says it has activated its licensed agents to commence enrollment as well as biometric data capturing of Lagos residents.
Some of them have started. I know that a lot of telcos, they are also licensed agents. In the next couple of days, you will see more of their presence in Lagos State.
Okwesowo, however, want Nigerians to avoid any form of incomplete NIN registration, especially those purportedly done by harmonizing bank verification number.
A NIN has been allocated to the BVN. So if such BVN holders dial *346, they will get a NIN. But the NIN becomes active when they come to our enrollment center to complete the data, the biometrics capturing. Aside the much publicized government directives on phone numbers and NIN synchronization, submission of NIN has now become mandatory for vehicle registration. In Lagos, Adini Taiwo, NTA News.
And away from that now, Lagos is one of the most popular cities in Nigeria, housing more than 22 million citizens. Over the years, the city has faced several security challenges, with the most recent being the aftermath of the NSAS protest. The lead agency on internal security, the Nigeria Police Force, have been dealing with the fallout of things as things gradually return to normal. Imolayo Tokede reports.
The recent youth unrest across the country gave room for hoodlums to take advantage of residents and commuters due to the near absence of police officers at strategic points around the city. The story is quite different now, with the presence of police officers on the roads, manning checkpoints and conducting traffic. How do residents feel about this new development?
I just once in a while see their vehicle around, patrol. Unlike we used to see them back then.
I don't have peace of mind because those policemen on the streets now don't have guns, and if anything is to happen, they won't be effective.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 2 Command, Ahmed Iliasu, stated that the force has adopted a community policing strategy which enables them to develop the needed public trust in order to effectively fight crime and criminality in Lagos and Ogun states.
Now, the police is ever more responsive in terms of response to distress calls, distress areas. We have various other sister organizations that we are working hand in hand with. So many intelligence-led policing devices.
The AIG further stated that the force has collaborated with other stakeholders in rebuilding its destroyed formations.
Interim structures have been put in place and our men are fully back and carrying out their duties.
It further revealed that the force has recovered most of the stolen items and arms carted away from police stations by hoodlums during the protests in Lagos. Imolayo Tokide, NTA News.
And still staying with security, the Nigerian Navy has inaugurated several projects under the Western Naval Command to promote welfare of its citizens as well as improve physical and maritime security. Among projects inaugurated were Type A and B transit accommodation for ratings at Navy Town, Ojo, conceived as a quick impact project to address the shortage of residential accommodation for junior ratings drafted to various units in Lagos. The two blocks consist of 74 self-contained rooms with functional spaces such as common rooms, kitchens, stores, and restaurants.
Not less than 230 junior ratings accommodated to perform their duties in their various units.
At the Nigerian Navy ship Baycroft Apapa, projects such as the reconstructed and automated main access gate, a 200-seat pavilion at the parade ground, CCTVs for enhanced monitoring of the base and adjoining waterfront, as well as the renovated motor transport yard were inaugurated.
Overall, these projects that were commissioned today would improve on welfare and well-being of personnel, as well as enhance operational capability to secure the base as well as the waterways.
The FOC also paid special tribute in the spirit of the 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day to troops at the front lines in various theaters of operations. And that's it from here. Let's now take our first break as Nationwide continues shortly.
A new edition of TV Guide is out with special focus on the game changer, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Broadcasting in a digital economy, Maxwell Logo gives an insight. This edition also features Nancy Naji of AIT, a name synonymous with business. Meet the NCDC boss, Dr. Chikwe Ihekweazu. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also x-rays the relevance of social media in the modern society. Meet some TV professionals who have impacted their spaces and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
Una don hear say dem dey rape about 35% of them girl pikin and even them women sef. Some of them, they even die in the process. Emotional trauma uncle, it dey make some of them be like say they no dey this world again, they don't go, but they still they live like ghosts. Some of them, shame don't kuku make them go kill themselves. It no good oh. This no be our culture. It no fit be the African way. Why we can't allow this kind of thing join body with us so that it loud well. If you know they fear law where man put, you know they fear Baba God there. You self, you where they cover mouth so you see mini wana they happen. You know why here when the Oyibo talk say problem where they bring come out, they solve and sharply. Remember, person wey feel rape, if it's a key person oh, if it be you, if it be your pikin, if it be person them where you love well. So make we learn they carry women them like diamond where we be. No grief for rape oh.
Thanks for staying tuned. Following the fire outbreak in Kubo Market in Abuja Municipal Area Council, FCT Minister of State Ramatu Tijani Aliyu has called for the reorganization and remodeling of the market. This was during the minister's visit to victims of the Kubo Market Inferno, where she acknowledged critical stakeholders for their prompt response. Ifeanyi Izumba reports that over 80 timber sheds and 300 furniture shops were affected in the incident.
While pledging that the FCT administration would see how best to assist the victims, the FCT Minister of State, Ramatu Tijani Aliu, tasked traders to take precautionary measures as most of the goods sold in the market are highly flammable, revealing that the personnel of FCT Fire Service is poised to train traders on how to curtail fire outbreak.
We'll pray against this, yes, but I want us all to take heart because every pin matters. Every 1 naira matters in this difficult time, but we'll also see what we can do. Please take heart and let us know that whatever came or comes and does not contain your life has left you to get more, and God willing, in this spirit we shall get more. Please, let's take heart. And for those who survived the inferno, the little we can to assist our brothers, especially those who lost much, please lend a hand.
Conducting the minister around the scene, Malam Sani Seidu told the minister that the fire outbreak could be linked to electrical upsurge.
There is an electrical problem because we have a lot of machines here, and they actually started from that side.
You know the problem why this fire is like this, that Kubo furniture material are dealing with combustible material. I told them in that last year, if we had that very program, that every shop must have a fire extinguisher and trained.
We need the support or help from government because why? Here we have a pipeline of waterboard. Here,
all the home markets we are selling here is chemical, wood, plywood, edge tape. All of them can consume fire.
Madam Seidu maintained that as soon as the fire service received the information from Kubo residents, the service deployed personnel from Nyanya before the intervention of firefighters from armed forces, the Nigerian Army, Air Force, and Navy. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NTA News.
The recently suspended attempt to increase electricity tariff continues to generate discourse, with calls for the Electricity Regulatory Agency to closely monitor distribution companies to ensure service delivery. This was on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria while discussing dynamics of electricity tariff in Nigeria. Ekemini Williams reports.
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission earlier this month adjusted the tariff upward from 2 to 4 naira on some bands on grounds of inflation and foreign exchange rates. The uproar that greeted this has not gone, in spite of the decision of government to suspend it. And this manifested in the studio as a regulatory agency and consumers engaged in a heated discussion on the dynamics of the tariff.
So if you have done wide consultation, we told them that day at Merit House, where are people from all the North Central zone? Where are the local government people here? There we are none.
Prince Willie, President Association of Electricity Consumers, criticized the regulators for inadequate consumer consultation, unavailable data and generation of tariff, and lack of transparency.
And when you talk about tariff not being reflective, is it based on the assumption you've done in Abuja? Or is it based on the assumption you've done in places like Kotangora, like places in Imo, Abia? Why is the regulator only interested in tariff increase and not in monitoring the discourse to obey the regulations? We intervened on behalf of 3 communities in Imo, over 31 million naira, given to them on estimation. No justifiable reason.
Perhaps state governments should set up consumer care centers and regulators that deal with consumer based on what NEC has already regulated, so that there's somebody boots on the ground policing disco behavior.
Mahmood Sharifuddin, General Manager, Market Competition and Rates, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, explained that tariff is determined by a cost-reflective mechanism involving all those in the electricity value chain, from generation, transmission, and distribution.
Our role is to ensure that this cost that they bring to us, one, they are prudent. They must pass the prudency test. That most of these assets that they put in are also useful.
They also called for increased power generation to facilitate stable electricity supply in the country. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Now turn our attention to the judiciary, where an Akwa Ibom State High Court sitting in Uyo has adjourned the trial of a university lecturer to January 13, 2021 for definite trial. Professor Ignatius Udwak of the University of Uyo is being arraigned on a 3-count charge bordering on alleged electoral fraud. Clement Barikui reports.
The adjournment was based on a verbal application by counsel to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Bo Barisigalo, who prayed for a date to enable him make minor amendments on his earlier charges. The presiding judge, Justice Achibong, adjourned the case to January 13, 2020 for definite hearing.
We actually filed our charge before the court, but we looked at the charge and there was need for minor amendment of the charge. And in the process, we discovered that the written statement of the witness was not there.
This is the same case. The prosecution obtained a bench warrant against this person, which was never necessary.
Professor Ignatius Uduk was the collation and returning officer in the Sinodum State constituency during the 2019 general elections. He is standing trial for abandoning his assigned duties, unlawfully generating scores, announcing false and fake election results, thereby committing offences punishable under sections 122 subsection 1 and 123 subsection 4 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. The professor was also charged for perjury, lying on oath, contrary to section 119 subsection 1 of the Criminal Code Laws of Akwa Ibom State 2000. In Uyo, Clement Barkui, NTA News.
Verim in Makudi is ready for us with more reports. Over to you.
Good evening and welcome to Makudi for the continuation of Nationwide. Activities have resumed at the National Identity Management Commission office in Makudi, Benue State, following the suspension of the industrial action embarked upon by the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, NIMC unit. Simbiat Agbaji reports that some of the potential enrollees have complained about the slow process that has led to pressing crowds.
Giving the reason for their suspension of the strike, the chairman, Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, NIMC Unit Makudi, says the federal government has promised to meet their demands within 21 days.
Our demands have not yet been met, and the union, after agreeing, we decided to issue a 21 days ultimatum for the management, for them to have enough time so that they can look into our problems. So at the expiration of those 21 days, if they have not met the problems, we then know what next to do.
A large crowd of people across Benue State who are yet to enroll for their national identity card have besieged the premises of the National Identity Management Commission office in Makudi after the suspension of the strike. Emmanuel Agbile, who has been coming to the NIMC office for days, and many more like him have appealed to the authority to establish more enrollment centers to accommodate the demand.
The exercise is quite very slow. Like we came in the morning, some of us were here as early as 5:30 this morning, and up till now, we've learned it's only 10 persons that have so far been enrolled.
As for Lucy Ada, the process has been smooth.
I joined the queue, I picked the form, and I came to this place, which is the second phase where you're supposed to submit the form, and here I am, I'm waiting, I'm online today.
The union members are optimistic that the government will meet their demands. In Makudi, Simbiat Agbaji, NTA News.
As part of efforts to curb insecurity in Katsina-Ala and Ukum local government areas of Benue State, Operation Wellstroke has impounded 78 motorcycles which are allegedly used to aid crimes in these localities. The special advisor to the governor on security matters, retired Colonel Paul Hemba, who received the impounded items, commended the security operatives for enforcing the ban on use of motorcycles in the affected areas. Charles Abba brings us the details.
The arrest and eventual impounding of 78 motorcycles by Operation West Stroke in Ukum and Kasinala local government areas of the state is in compliance with a ban on the use of motorcycles in parts of Sankara by the Benue State Security Council. Special advisor to the governor on security matters, Colonel Paul Hemba, retired, who received the motorcycle, said the ban is a deliberate effort of the State Security Council to reduce the wave of crimes in the Sankara axis.
Motorcycles are a major vehicle, they are a major cause of instability in the country. Criminals, bandits, kidnappers, all sorts of criminals use them for their nefarious activities. And you know the routes they follow after committing these crimes, even when the police or the military pursue them with vehicles, you cannot catch them.
He refuted the accusation that the arrested motorcycles were burnt and expressed the resolve of the council to strengthen the operation. He, however, said, following appeals by the people that the lady machines be excluded from the ban, the council will sit to consider the plea. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Away from that report, today has been a work-free day in Benue State, as declared by the state government. The day has been set aside to mourn former military administrator of Benue State, retired Colonel Aminu Isa Kontagora, for what the state government described as his immense contribution to the development of the state. Charles Abba again has details.
In addition to the work-free Tuesday declared by Governor Samuel Otom for Benue people to mourn the late former military administrator of the state, Colonel Isa Aminu Kontagora, the governor indicated that flags be flown at half-mast in honor of the deceased. Governor Otom described the death of Colonel Kontagora as a great loss to Nigeria, Benue, and Niger State. He stated that the footprints of the deceased remain indelible in the state.
There are notable projects that he executed. Some are even named after him. And we appreciate him. And even after he left Benue State and eventually retired from the service, he has been in contact with Benue people.
Former Governor of Benue State, Senator Gabriel Suswam, who commiserated with the bereaved family, said the honor done the deceased is well deserved. Colonel Aminu Isa Kontagora was military administrator of Benue State from August 1996 to August 1998 during the regime of General Sani Abacha. He died on Sunday, January 10, 2021, at the age of 65. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
That's our bit from Makudi. We now take a commercial break. After that, Kemi in our Ibadan Network Studio will take it from there. Good evening.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youth, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. #Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Life can be very eventful. We curiously expect things to happen, even when we don't know what. Our human nature makes us like and repost lots of information. Some are unverified, inciting anger and hate. Sometimes innocently, other times the urge to break it first. This, in most cases, has caused destruction in many nations.
NTA News 24. A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
StarTimes channel 101, and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
Thanks for being there and a warm welcome to Ibadan. Residents crowded the National Identification Number registration centers across your state amid complaints of various challenges. Correspondent Larry Bilei, who visits some of the registration centers in Ibadan, has a situation report.
The queues at the designated registration centers for the National Identity Card has not diminished. Neither is the complaint of its cumbersome process.
So it's not supposed to be like to be like this now. They were putting people under risk during this time of pandemic coronavirus.
Yes, it's morning. So 6 o'clock, and I hope to do it today because I need it in school.
The truth is, registration for the National Identity Card does not have a deadline. The upsurge of people coming to registration centers is due to the need to connect their National Identity Card with the SIM cards, the driver's license, and other documents.
What we have been doing is that we give appointments to people for them to come on an appointed date, and when they come in, we attend to them without much azus.
For the registration centers officials, their primary challenge is power outage and the inevitable hiccups of alternative source of power, the generators, to keep registration equipment running. But one can't doubt the resolve of Nigerians wanting to register and the commitment of officers faced with this daunting task. In Ibadan, Larry Bilei, NTA News.
Stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress in Kwara State have expressed worry over crisis rocking the party in the state, but confidence in Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak's ability to fulfill his campaign promises. The APC stakeholders made this known during a media briefing in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. Aisha Abubakar Yahya has details.
One of the APC elder statesmen in Kwara State, Sunday Fagbemi, who spoke on behalf of all Progressives Congress stakeholders, expressed confidence in the ability of Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak to move the state to greater heights and called on all party members to support him. Sunday Fagbemi noted that the present crisis rocking the party in the state has compelled party stakeholders and elders to stand up so as to address the issues in order not to allow the party fall apart in the state.
This is why we have come together to stand for the goal.
Aside the worry of the party falling apart, the stakeholders are also concerned about tarnishing the good image of the governor, whose performance, according to them, is glaring to the public. They promise to leave no stone unturned at ensuring that the crises are resolved amicably in the party, while also making sure the governor's image is not tarnished, while calling on the good people of the state not to relent in their support for the present administration. The stakeholders also urged people not to allow anyone poisoning their mind towards the government, as Kwara has never had it this good over the years. The press conference was attended by representatives of APC across the 16 local government areas of the state. Aisha Abubakar Yahya, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's time now to join Ifoma in Abuja for more reports on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Very much, Kemi. Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State says the people of Rivers State will continue to benefit more infrastructure development that will make life more easier for them in the remaining years of his administration. While inaugurating Rumekini Alu Road, Governor Wike assured of completion of all ongoing projects and initiating of new ones that will have direct bearing in the lives of the people.
That we can have other contractors who will carry out quality jobs like this. It means our future is bright.
during our campaigns, particularly in the above axis, and today I can say authoritatively that no community in our kingdom that we have not carried out one project by the other.
Former President of the Senate, Anyim Pius Anyim, commended Governor Wike for the huge investment on infrastructure and human capital development, which have translated to meaningful transformation.
There are a few things I've identified and I've observed about the politics and projects and programs of Governor Wike. One, Governor Wike is bonded with his people. As a result, he knows their needs and he conceives his projects to meet their needs.
The former president of the Senate says the present administration in Rivers State has proven to be dedicated in fulfilling its promise to the people. Bayelsa State's Governor Senator Doyediri has offered automatic employment at the law faculty of the Niger Delta University and scholarship to any university in the world for first-class law graduates, Ms. Blessing Ebizi Eradiri. The governor made the offer when he received the excelling law school graduates in company of family members at the State House in Yenagua. Fred reports.
Hard-working people. Governor Doyediri disclosed that the academic success of Ebizi Blessing Eradri brought to rest speculations about Bayelsans being educationally disadvantaged. Governor Diri says the graduation of Ms. Ebizi with a first class in the Niger Delta University and another first class in law school, which is an amalgamate of all universities, further proved her intelligence.
You have made not only yourself and your family proud, you have also made the state of Bayelsa proud.
The chief executive of the state announced Ebizi as the new face of the Bayelsa girl. He directed that she be given automatic employment in the Niger Delta University Faculty of Law. In their separate remarks, His Royal Majesty King Bobraye Daukulu, the Bedawe of Ekpetiama clan, called for empowerment of more intelligent students following Ebizi's track records in her primary and secondary education.
Bayelsa, the job people, the Niger Delta people are better for many things, including using the brain.
In the short time he has been in office, he has proven to be a governor who appreciates young Bayelsans and Bayelsans who are doing well generally.
From Government House, Fred Uwefie, NTA News.
Chinenge in Enugu is next with other reports. Hello, Chinenge.
Hello, Ifoma. Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu. The Governing Council of the Enugu State Multi-Door Court House, ESMDC, led by Justice Chima Sentos Nweze of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, has been inaugurated. Chief Judge of the State, Justice Priscilla Emehelu, while inaugurating the council, charged members to bring their wealth of knowledge to bear in serving the ESMDC ahead of every dispute resolution organization in the country. Established in 2018, the objective of the Enugu State Multi-Door Court House, among others, is to enhance access to justice by providing alternative mechanisms to supplement mitigation in the resolution of disputes in order to minimize citizens' frustration and delay in justice delivery. The functions of the Multi-Door Court House, according to the director, Mrs. Caroline Etuk, include to apply mediation, arbitration, and any other alternative dispute resolution mechanisms into resolution of such disputes that may be referred to it. Inaugurating the Governing Council of ESMDC, Enugu State Chief Judge noted that its functions include the consideration and approval of the budget of ESMDC, initiation and validation of proposals to restructure and expand it, among others.
They will make policies that will impact positively
to the society.
Justice Sisinweze appreciated the Chief Judge of Enugu State for the confidence reposed on them and promised to make ESMDC a reference point for the growing trends in court ADR of the continent. Other members of the Governing Council of ESMDC include Mrs. Justina Ofia San, who is the facilitator Enugu State Justice Reform Team, and the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Enugu State, Mr. Meletus Eze, among others. In Enugu, residents of Enugu have appealed to the federal government to give more time for the registration of the National Identity Number, NIN, so as to accommodate everyone. Chika Ugu, who visited some NIN registration centers in the metropolis, reports that although the exercise is described as tedious, people are turning out in their numbers for the registration.
The National Identity Number registration is an exercise which commenced years back, but many were nonchalant to get registered as the international passport, driver's license and voter's card also serve the same purpose of identification. However, government, in its bid to address insecurity, fraud and corruption in the country, initiated a directive with an ultimatum of 2 weeks, later extended to 6 weeks for telecoms operators to synchronize all SIM cards with the national identity number. This has compelled many to register for their national identity number. The sudden rush by many to get registered to beat the deadline or face the risk of their SIM cards being blocked has made the exercise more stressful for registrants, as some of them get to the registration centers as early as 6 in the morning and spend hours before being registered.
They finish registration and filling of the form, then now there is no light to continue the work.
I wasn't attended yesterday, so this early morning I came here and I'm still, I don't know the time now, it's almost noon. Nobody's giving us attention.
Although the people commend the government for the initiative to ensure a valid means of verifying people's identity, they are, however, of the view that government should evolve all the ways to make the process seamless and stress-free, especially for the old people and young ones. It is expected that people take advantage of the extension for SIM card linkage with NIN to get registered before February 9. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
And that is our bid from here. Ifoma is back to you in Abuja.
Thank you, Chinenye. And now on sports. Stakeholders clamor for the return of the National Sports Commission. Gift George is our guide.